Book I read is A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. Basically, it's a memoir about Ernest Hemingway's life when he was younger and living in Paris in the 1920s. The book isn't like a normal story with a definitive beginning and end. It's more like a collection of his short memories. He talks about trying to become a writer and not having a lot of money and writing in cafes and like as a lot of people are during that time, like figuring out life. A lot of it's very like simple everyday moments, but that's kind of what makes the book feel more real. Um, One of the main themes and ideas from the book is how much a place can change you, especially when you're young and learning new things. Paris specifically meant a lot to Hemingway, and you can see that in many books that he's written and how those memories from those places have stayed with him throughout his life. The book also talks a lot about creativity, discipline, loneliness, and figuring out what you need to do to become the person you want to be, even though you don't know what steps you need to take to get there. And kind of going off that, Paris is obviously a huge part of the book. It's not just about like it being in the background. It feels like a living part of his story. And whenever he's walking around, when he's sitting in those cafes and watching people and talking to those people, uh, it made it so much more interesting because it shows Paris as like a living place and where people work and live rather than just a place that people visit and go and see the Eiffel Tower and so on and so forth. One specific quote that I liked was, if you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life, it stays with you. And that line basically explains like the majority of the book and why Paris mattered so much to him, and kind of goes back to the theme I was talking about earlier about figuring out yourself and yeah. And then about leaving my book. So I didn't have the opportunity to leave my book in Paris, which would be more fitting for this book. But I actually left it in Rome, in a small exclusive bar that I thought that Hemingway would have liked because, like places like this bar are very, I don't know. Um, it it seems like a place that he would have gone, and um, a lot of the story comes from that sort of background and place. And then just a couple last things. It feels, although the book is set in 1920, it feels like it was made yesterday. Um, all the experiences that he felt and experienced um, still feel applicable to anyone in their earlier life, especially if like you're living somewhere new or even if you're abroad like us. Um, Personally, I really like the book and I'd recommend it because it's a very easy read, but it still like makes you think about like your own personal experiences and how you're developing in your own way. Um, and I think it's especially good for people that are living abroad, like IAU students and us, other students going abroad, because it really shows how like small experiences in new places really have a significant impact on your life and can have like lasting impact even years and years after they've happened. But yeah, that's my review of Immovable Feast.